Welcome to the PHNX Suns pregame show presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos and BetMGM. Don't forget also to become a diehard today and get your free t-shirt or hat and discount on our great events. I'm your host, Espo. He is Gerald Bourguet, and we are not joined by like 2/3 of our team today. Why don't we go straight to the injury report, Damon? Lindsey Smith out illness, Flex out illness, Eric Ruby out illness, and Saul Bookman DNP did not pod old. So we are way down today, Gerald. It's just you and I.
Oof, and I was questionable coming into this one, so we're gonna do our best here today.
I might be questionable going out by the end of this night. We may be down to our fill-in producer, Damon. We're all Damon's dogs. He may be hosting this show from behind the Mac by the time we get to post game. But how are you, Gerald? I mean, other than borderline sick.
I'm great. I brought like 7 cough drops and 2 Gatorades. I'm gonna power through this. We're gonna be great. We're gonna be hopefully talking about a get right game for the Suns. So hopefully we have that to look forward to.
Well, get right in Portland, not easier said than done. This is a team that has struggled throughout the year, not the greatest of offensive teams. They're a decent defensive team with a defensive rating of 18th in the league, but they struggle offensively. So tonight, what do you think it comes down to? Is it just simply the Suns' defense has to outplay this Blazers team and not play down to the competition?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at the Blazers, I think they've lost like 6 or 7 in a row now. And 2 of those were to a Warriors team that's been struggling pretty much. And I think 1 or 2 of them were to the Jazz as well, who we know are not very good. So this is not a good basketball team. They're a young team. They're a team that turns the ball over quite a lot. I think if the Suns can take care of keeping the Blazers off the offensive glass, that's one area where they're actually pretty good. They're 7th in offensive rebounds and 2nd in second chance points. They have a really good chance of turning over a young team, turning those into easy points, getting stops, because the Blazers, I think, are 28th in field goal percentage. They're not a good shooting team by any means. So just take care of business against a team that you should be in all facets of the game, and don't give them any confidence. Obviously, they're at home. They're a team that likes to shoot a lot of threes, doesn't make a lot of them, so their three-point defense has to be intact as well.
Ironically, not a very good team at home. And granted, they're not a very good team anywhere,
Right?
But not a very good team at home. But the Suns have actually been better on the road than they have at home. I believe they're 7-4 this year going into this game, so that kind of bodes well. But I want to ask, because we got into it a little bit yesterday, all of us, not just you and I,
right?
About kind of where this team is, where they stand. Is this a must-win, not in the sense of saving the season or playoff hopes or anything like that, but from a team/fan morale standpoint, because things seemed pretty down during and after that Wizards game the other night.
Yeah, this is, I'll never use the term must-win in December like you alluded to, but I will say, like, this is about as close as it gets for a December game. They need to win this game. They need a get-right game, because as much as the Wizards were supposed to be that, and they did get back in the win column, it didn't feel convincing. They had to turn it around in the fourth quarter. They were trailing most of the way by double digits at some points. So this is a game where you need to come out and just ride whatever type of feelings you have about DA and all that stuff to a convincing win, because we saw it the first time that they played. We need to see it again here on the road. Like you said, they've been better on the road, so that's encouraging. Maybe these 2 road games will help them heading into, Christmas Day, and then following that, a couple of games. They have like a 7 or 8 game homestand coming up.
Do you, I mean, when I look at this, I don't know. My instinct is you need to come out and win by double digits, right?
Yeah.
To make some kind of statement.
Mhm.
But we got into that argument the other night as well. Is do you really have to? Is a win a win? Does it just need to be where it feels comfortable tonight, where it didn't against the Wizards because you basically spotted them an 11-point lead at one point? Is it just simply go out there and compete and not get behind and it's okay? Or do you feel like it has to be some kind of statement in the way they win?
I don't know if it has to be a statement, but I do think if this is a single digit win, it needs to be like a third string guy hit a 3 at the buzzer to drop it from 12 to 9 or something like that. Like third string guys chipping away at a 20-point lead. Like I don't care what the final score is. I care about like the flow of the game. And I think this is a game where you want to see the Suns go ahead by double figures and just sustain that throughout. You want to see them put together runs, and you want to see them not get complacent, because we have seen what's happened 4 or 5 times at least this season when they've had double-digit leads or leads in the fourth quarter and how those have kind of fallen away. I want to see them beat a bad team, sustain that lead, and not let inferior competition back into the game.
Girth Burner says, Gerald, hype us up. So
I'm trying.
You got anything?
This is as hype as my voice gets right now.
We got low energy on this.
We're trying. We're trying.
I'm not going to make you yell, Gerald, as much as fun as that sounds. Another subtext, and you briefly mentioned it about tonight's game, but obviously Deandre Ayton taking on the Suns again. But this is the first time that Jusuf Nurkic, Drew Eubanks, Nasir Little all get to go back and play in Portland. Are you a believer that actually can help these kind of quote unquote revenge games? I mean, I don't think it's a fair term because most guys don't have ill will to their former team, but this chance to play again in front of a crowd that's familiar with you.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it honestly depends on the guy and the manner in which they left. I think for Nurkic, we saw, obviously it was just preseason, but his first game back in Portland, he's had nothing but good things to say about the Blazers, the people that are there in that organization. And I think for him, going back to Portland is an opportunity to, it's a happy thing. It's not like a revenge thing. And we saw it in that first time he was back in Portland. He had nearly a triple-double by halftime, basically. And I think he feels a certain type of way. There are certain matchups that we see him get up for, Nikola Jokic being one of them. I think DA and the Blazers for the rest of his time in Phoenix are going to be another one. Guys like Nasir Little, that might be a little bit different. It might be kind of strange just because he was a younger developmental type player that they gave up on by trading him, basically. So maybe he'll feel some type of way. Maybe it'll be strange for him being back in that arena for the first time. But he is getting the start tonight. So we got 2 former Blazers that have an opportunity to have their revenge game in starters minutes.
Another guy that's getting to play against a franchise that drafted him, not one he obviously played for, is Toumani Camara as well. When you look at him and DA going up against the Suns, there's always the chance that one of them has a big game, and we get to hear you never should have given up that guy, right?
Yeah.
But it was interesting pregame. Both the Blazers coach and Frank Vogel were talking about just the whole trade and how both GMs wanted Camara.
Yeah.
And eventually the Suns obviously had to give in because, as Frank Vogel said, you got to give something to get something, which I don't know if that was slight shade at Deandre Ayton. I don't believe so, but it read like that way. But do you think on their side? I mean, obviously DA does have beef. Do you think that he comes out a little bit more fired up? And do you think Toumani Camara kind of just wants to showcase what he could have been?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we saw it in the first game too, the way that they gave him the Devin Booker assignment for most of the game. And, Book still got his, but Camara did a pretty decent job. I think he's a very good defender over there. He's doing all the little things really that they need him to do. So I've been impressed with what I've seen of Camara. He had that one poster dunk a few nights ago, him and Shaedon Sharpe on the same night. I was a big fan of that pick as soon as I got to know more about his game and got to watch him at Summer League. So that's the one that stings from that trade. The only part that stings, because as much as we talk about, it wasn't just DA for Nurk, it was DA for Nurk and Grayson and Nasir. Well, it was also DA and Tumani for that.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be a solid role player in this league for a while.
And, I know it wasn't DA for Nurk straight up, obviously, but that's going to be a comparison. And I found it interesting. I was looking at their stats for this year, and they're surprisingly, close in a lot of areas, but Nurk averages 12.3 points, DA 12.5, rebounds 10.2 for Nurk, 10.5 for DA. Assists, obviously Nurk much better at it at 3.9 assists a game to DA's 1.5, but blocks. We always knew that DA wasn't much of a guy in terms of blocks. 0.7 for the year, and Nurk has 0.2 or 1.2, which has helped the Suns be one of the most efficient teams in blocking the basketball this year. When I look at this, we were trying to understand initially why the Suns front office and James Jones in particular saw Nurk as this better fit for this team. Stats obviously don't tell the whole story, but I think it's become very clear that he's almost that connective tissue when this offense is going to be at its best. And really it is that passing and some of that defense in terms of being able to block shots that kind of pushed him ahead of what they thought they had with DA.
Yeah, and I'm not going to pretend like Nurk is some, superior interior defender or rim protector or anything like that. He is better at getting blocks than DA, because we've seen so many times it felt like there were like 2 or 3 plays a game where DA would contest a layup but wouldn't go out and just kick that shit to the stands like we thought he could. But I think the assists in particular speaks to his fit with this team. Like we've talked so much about it, having a guy who can catch the ball in the short roll when they blitz those pick and rolls like they're going to do with Book, Brad Beal, Kevin Durant. That's huge to keep the offense flowing and to attack those disadvantages that defenses will find themselves in. So,
all right, I'm going to let you rest the voice. I'm going to take this whole next segment here. Let's take a look at the actual injury report for tonight. We joked about our own injuries, but when you look at it tonight, Grayson Allen is probable with right hamstring soreness. Josh Okogie out again with that right hip strain. Bradley Beal obviously out still with that right ankle sprain as well. He'll be reevaluated at the beginning of January. Shaedon Sharpe still questionable for the Trailblazers with that right abductor soreness, and Robert Williams III out with that right knee ligament tear. So pretty even on when it comes to injuries tonight. Nothing surprising on that injury report. I'm glad that Grayson is probable. They need him and that 3-point shooting tonight for sure. Let's take a look at what the Jersey matchup is, though. I didn't lie, Gerald. I'm going to let you rest them vocal cords and kill him with laughing, too. Tonight's Jersey matchup, the purple icon edition for the Suns, one of their best looking, and against the Association edition for the Blazers, that classic white with the red and black, what looks like tire marks along the abdomen of that jersey. I actually really do love those as well. And let's take a look at who we're picking tonight in this game. The PHNX crew. Flex picking the Blazers by 1. Not actually. He didn't get his pick in since he wasn't feeling well, and that's our default. You get the opponent by 1. If he's right, we're all going to cry and not laugh in the postgame. Lindsay has the Suns by 8. I have the Suns by 9. And Gerald, who is now a mute, has the Suns by 10. Let's just roll in here. Let's go to the spread. What do our friends at the BetMGM Sportsbook have the Suns favored by tonight? It is 7.5. So if you're feeling saucy, you can take the Blazers plus the 7.5, or you can go straight money line for plus 230. So getting some decent odds there. And you know what? Why not take a look at what our bets are tonight? For this game? We can start with mine. And mine it's a simple one. Not easy to hit, but a simple one to read. Devin Booker to make 2 consecutive 3-pointers in this game at plus 1,000. I feel like he's going to be shooting a lot tonight. And Frank Vogel's talked about how he wants him to be more aggressive from 3. So I'm going to go with that. We'll take a look at Lindsay's bet next. Since she's not here, I'll read it for her as well. Suns -4.5 at a -160. A very Smithian bet if there ever was one. And then these next two, I love them because they didn't get their bets in. So they're just getting Suns money line for Saul and for Flex at -275. Let's take a quick look at the leaderboard in this. And boy, is it beautiful. This is just one of the sexiest things I've ever seen on a PHNX Suns show. I'm leading 198.50. Lindsay in second place with $97.88. Flex is at -541, and Saul bringing up the rear at -$38. So that is where we are at. And you know what? If you want to get in on any of the action tonight, and, take maybe my bet if you're feeling like you want to make some money, or Lindsay's if you're feeling like really you just want your $10 back, you can make that bet over at the BetMGM Sportsbook app. It is that easy. All you got to do is sign up and use that promo code PHNX when you download the BetMGM Sportsbook app. Then sign up and deposit at least $10 into your account. Place a wager of at least $10 and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. If your bet loses, those bonus bets will be available immediately. It's one of my favorite things when you get those bonus bets because, then I get real saucy and I take those plus 3,000, plus 5,000 because you know what? It's bonus and you got to go ahead and take advantage of it. So make sure to sign up using that promo code PHNX. Place that first bet of at least $10. And if your bet loses, your bonus bets will be available right away. So check out the show notes for full details. And now listen to the mustache behind the Mac, Shane Diefenbach, talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Nevada, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in D.C., New York, or Ontario.
Gerald, would you like to mime your final thoughts about this game? Are you okay?
We're gonna struggle through this. We're popping cough drops like they're candies right now. But
what's your key to the game? What's it going to take for the Suns to get this victory?
Keep them off the boards and win the turnover game. This is a young team. They turn over a lot. They give up a lot of points off turnovers. That's an area where we've seen the Suns mostly be okay recently, but they have had some high turnover games, and it's really hurt them. So just take care of the ball and outclass a team that's younger and worse than you.
Yeah, I feel like Nurk's a big key tonight. Get those boards, play well on offense, be aggressive. I want to see the guy that took it to Jokic in the post and a couple of other matchups this year and take it personally when it comes to going up against Deandre Ayton tonight. I think that's a matchup he really can dominate. And look, I need Book to be aggressive. I need Katie to be efficient. If I get two of those three things tonight, I think this is a pretty easy victory for the Suns. We got a super chat from Mike Kafka saying Nurkic also has 100 free throws to Ayton 70. Nurkic has 33.3% from three-pointer, and Ayton has 0 three-pointers. So there are significant differences. I could do without any Nurkic three-pointers, quite frankly. It's an experience that is quite uncomfortable for me and for many other Suns fans. But
I'm confused by that stat, though, because DA only has 25 free throws on the season.
Oh, so even less free throws. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Look at that. Mike Kafka, you are not a statistician, apparently. It's 25 for DA this year. So that is our program. I'm going to let Gerald rest his voice because, I can carry a pregame show by myself. Postgame could be a little different.
It could.
So thank you for stopping by for the Suns, PHNX Suns pregame show. Thank you to Damon behind the Mac. We are all Damon's dogs. Woof, woof. I'm not going to make Gerald do it. I am Espo. You can follow me at Espo. He's Gerald. You can follow him at Gerald Bourgain. You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. Be sure to join us right here after the game, and make sure to watch the game tonight on Arizona Family Sports, Channel 3. And it's my favorite place to watch a game. You got Eddie, you got Tom Leander and Tom Chambers, and you got, of course, our friend K-Ray. So make sure to check out Arizona Family Sports and go to ArizonaFamily.com to find out where you can watch. We'll talk to you post-game. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.